First off, I want to say that this thing is impossible to get on frame. So I'm going to apologize in advance for my hands being in this thing, but this box is a lot bigger than you would think it is. So, but anyway, it's a great Axial kit. I love their kits. Their stuff goes together super strong, super easy. I've built a lot of their SCX 10s, the 10.2s, and I haven't built any 10.3s, but and some of the big 2.2 stuff. So I'm really excited to get started on this thing. Box art on the front looks great. I don't know if I can get out of the glare, but don't know that I'm going to go with the white chassis. I may wind up painting a different color, just because I'm strange like that. Box art on the side. Let's see. Yeah, it's just picture of the model on that side. Box art this side with the rest of the, this is basically the same thing from the other side. So it's a waste of time. But anyway, let's open this booger up and see what all's in there. Nice. All right, so well packaged. And a lot of bags. Man, that's a lot of bags. Jesus. All right, so decal sheet, and this one here is nothing major. And it looks like there is a set of drivers for this thing, and they're right here, molded in Lexan, of course. So over to the side with that for now. Manual. Why they seal their manuals up? I've never understood that. Manual. Then we've got a battery strap, a couple of zip ties, and some extra screws down here in this corner. If you can see that, I'm not going to open everything up because I'm going to wind up putting this back in the box for a little while. God, and Lord have mercy. Look at the size of these tires. Holy cow. Good God. That is a humongous. Wait a minute. Hold it. I got to. Oh, hang on a second. This is crazy. Oh, I got to know. Hold on, let me find it. Let's just use this handy dandy and find out, get a ballpark of how these daggum tires are 6 inches tall. 6 inches tall. I don't know if you can see it or not. That is huge. And then the track on these things, on these AR60 axles, is usually right around 12 inches. So this is going to be a monstrous rig. A monstrous rig. Wow. Okay. Let's go see some boxes here. Get some bags here. Holy crap. Look at the spur. Can you see that spur? That's steel. Good God. That looks like a small sprocket off of a mini bike or something. That's, my gosh, man. And there's a center skid for this thing. So, wow. This is going to be, oh my God. I might start this evening. Whoa. What else is in this thing? The motor plate. Good God. Motor plate for this thing is metal. It's a metal motor plate. And I mean a big old thick one too. That's at least 1/8 of an inch thick, if you can see it, or I don't know if you can or not. But wow. Oh, more metal. All right, these are some of the, looks like the rear trailing arms and the braces for the side as well. Man, listen to that. I wish you could feel how heavy this thing is. My God. More transmission gears. Golly Pete. They're metal too. At least 1/8 of an inch thick. You see that? This is going to be one brutal. So I can throw brushless at this all day long. Should be able to. And bearings. Kits. That's the one good thing about an Axial kit. They send bearings with their kit. So there's no like going out and hunting bearings and whatnot for like I do with these Tamayas and that, but it's okay. Aluminum shocks, threaded all the way down for adjustment. Oil filled, of course. Some decent springs. Might have to change the springs, but again, I'm not going to do any crawling with this. It's just beat the hell out of it. All right. Man, look at all these bags. Small parts bags again. And then, what is this? Look at my God. Simulated disc brakes, which is okay, but you see these things through there? I know it's going to be kind of tough to see. Look at the size of those things, man. As big as a 50-cent piece over here in the U.S. God. Drive shafts. Are they metal? I don't know if they're metal or not, but look at the size of the drive shafts in this thing. U-joints in that bag. I don't want to tear the bags open. I do, but I don't want to. I'll tear this stuff apart. I'll never get it back together, never get it in here. Let me put these back in real quick, and we will move on to, I just can't get over the size of these tires. I'll put those on my truck. And here we go for cage sides. This is going to be a big rig. You see this? I can't even get it in the frame right. That's, golly, Pete, that's going to be nice. Same axial plastic for their frames. You know, they use on things like a bomber. All their plastic parts pretty rigid and takes a hell of a beating. So this should be just about bulletproof when it's built. And then what we got here? This looks like there's fuel tank for like the receiver and whatnot, and there's a receiver box. So I don't know what you can put in that fuel tank. If it even, yeah, it does come apart, but receiver box, fuel tank. I know the writing on it kind of makes it tough to see, but that's a fuel tank right there. It's got the bung on the top and all. 2 driver figureheads, right? 2 driver helmets here and here. Have to be painted, of course, but I guess I'll find a way to get that done. And then the last bag I got here, crucial part of the suspension, is this sway bar. I've read online where guys are saying run the sway bar. Some of them say don't run the sway bar. I guess it's going to be just basically personal preference. So I'm about halfway through building the Ryft, the actual Ryft, and I just wanted to stop. I'm taking a break, but I just want to take a minute to show you some of the size, some of the part sizes of this thing. This is ridiculous. This thing is. This is a rear shock. All right, it's one of the rear shocks. I'm a pretty big guy. I think fits all the way across my hand. That is a gigantic shock. That's a rear shock, and the front shocks aren't much smaller. Good grief. The links on this thing are beefy as all get out. Look at these. I don't know what kind of steel. I don't know if it's titanium or whatnot, but they're a clean looking piece. It is really nice looking piece. The rear links are, yeah, you know, I mean they're plastic, but they do have the aluminum pieces to sandwich on the side, and gives it a lot. It's going to give it a lot more rigidity. I'm really impressed with this kit so far. Really, I am. The axles are incredible. Look at this axle, man. I mean, really? Thing's like 12.5 inches wide, right? And then the front axle, look at this. That is a sick steering rod and link there. It's really not, I mean, this is class. Really nice piece. And then the diff covers are metal also. I couldn't believe that when I opened it up. See? Don't look at dude. He's like, uh-huh. But, and then the transmission, I put this transmission together. And everything, and mind you, everything's in mock-up because I still have to pull the motor system out of one of the models that I've got that I'm going to use in this. But this transmission on the plate, on the motor plate, that's a nice slick plate, boat sides on it. You can tell it's got a little bit of a boat side to it. I bet you that thing weighs close to 2 pounds right by itself, and that's with no motor on it. Now, I am doing, you can go 2-speed on this. This is going to be single, simply because it's going to be brushless. There's no need for 2-speed with the brushless. Drivers and whatnot, I'm not going to paint anything right now. This is specifically going into roller, kind of like mock-up for now, because Mr. Option Parts had to get online and find some stuff that he wants to get, and so I'm waiting on this stuff to get here Monday. Then I can actually put the motor system and the servo and everything in it and get this thing ready. I'm ready to blast this thing, but man, so far so good. Now, so now this cage is done. Look at this cage, man. This thing is big hand. Nice. Got some weight to it too, you know. Nice cage. Got an access for the battery right in there. There's a couple of extra plates with this thing, so if you're running a small pack, these holes here, so there's plates in that actually fit the size of battery you're going to run. I'm going to run the standard like 2S style until I wind up buying some smaller 3S stuff. But look at this, man. I mean, that's a sharp cage. It looks really good. Nice piece, really nice piece. So all right, let's get back in it. Okay, so now the lower end's ready. Got the transmission mounted on the trans plate or center skid, whatever you want to call it. It's a receiver box. I'm mocking everything in. The links are in, the front shocks are mounted, make it a little bit easier. I'd skip ahead on that. And then the rear axle. Really, I'm really digging this thing. I cannot wait to get all the extra stuff. And I'll explain what I ordered whenever I get it in the roller and get it up on its wheels. But let's move on. All right, so it's getting closer now. We got the skid plate mounted to the chassis. The shocks are attached to both the chassis and the suspension. The sway bar is in place on both sides, as you can see. I'm not going to put any interior in it. Like I said, this is just to mock it up and see what we're working with, so I'll know what I can do as far as the rest of it. But we're in the short rows now, man. I'm going to get the wheels underneath it. I'm not going to mount the body panels because I'm not sure what color I'm going to paint it, or if I'm going to paint the chassis itself. But let's get this thing on its wheels. See what exactly this is going to look like. Get some size comparisons. One last thing before I mount the tires on it that I thought was really, really cool is this simulated disc brake system. Even the calipers look like they've been powder coated and have actual, molded into them. It's pretty neat, man. The discs are everything's plastic, obviously, but nice. It's pretty nice, and if you go over scale, which is, I know it's be kind of hard to do on these things, but it does help. I just thought it was really nice bonus piece, for this kit. Let's get the wheels on it and see what this thing looks like. All right, so there it is in roller, man. Finally. I didn't tell anybody how long I've been working on this thing, but yes, it took a while. It is gargantuan big. The wheelbase is 15 inches. I just happen to have a 15-inch ruler here, and it is dead on 15 inches. That is crazy. And then the actual track on this thing is roughly 12 inches. So an incredible piece, man. There's a couple quirks with it. This thing, when you build this kit, mind you, all the gears in it are hard or steel. But there are 3 different differentials in this thing. You have a differential in the rear, in the front, obviously. But they give you a differential in the transmission also. Now, so that's 3 diffs right there. They only send 1 locker. So what I did is I locked the rear end right off the bat. So the reason I'm leaving it in roller per se is because I've ordered 2 more lockers, one for the front axle and one for the center diff and the transmission to lock everything up. Some guys might say that's a crazy thing to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's just I feel better with it pulling positive all the time. So those parts will be here Monday. Thus, the reason why it doesn't have electronics or anything like that in it right now. The servo won't even be here till tomorrow. So there we are. It's an amazing piece. It's a great piece. I can tell you that right now, minus the electronics and a battery, it weighs roughly 10 pounds. It's a little nose heavy. It will be even more nose heavy whenever you mount the battery in the front. Pretty nifty system here. If I can get this off. Well, anyway, this plate here raises up, gives you access to that battery tray right down in there. Nice system. It lays out straight instead of, transverse across like I used to mount it in my Ryft. But I'm really looking forward to getting this thing together and getting it out there and having some fun with it. The tires are pre-mounted, but they're not glued. I'm going to run these just to, get a feel for the rig and whatnot. And I'll probably order some aluminum 2.2 bead locks and a different set of tires just to have an extra set. And I can see me really having some fun with this. Now, I don't have anybody around here that has one of these or anything close to it, obviously, that I'm aware of. Most of my friends have sold all their 2.2 rigs, so I've got the only one at the moment. But I'm hoping that the guys will come over, take a look at it, and say, man, that's cool, and wind up doing something like this, or maybe a Bomber, a Ryft, or whatever. But be cool to have some, a couple of these out on a construction site. Like we got a construction site going on down the road, and there's a mountain of dirt over there that is probably 4 stories high. And it would be really cool to get one of these out there and just blast and just, have some fun out there with it. But anyway, here it is. Part 1 of this video. I know it's been a little bit longer than normal, but now you see why. Second vid should be redoing the differentials and hopefully putting all of the electronics in it. And I will see you guys on that one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me over on Instagram at Maverick506. You can check for the spelling down at the bottom because it was a little tough to get it, but I got it. Till then, you guys take real good care. Be a decent human, and we'll catch you on the next video. Later.